All right, well, happy Monday, Central Georgia. It is the start of a brand new week, and I am in for meteorologist Alex Pry this week. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I just hear my voice going back in my brain. It's hard for me to think like that. All right, so we are going to jump into the extended forecast this week, and it is finally an extended forecast with rain chances in it for the first time in a long time. Now, not really rain chances today, and I'm going to get into what's going on right now on the sky cams in just a moment here because it's kind of a different scene across all the sky cams, and it may look like in downtown Macon there could be rain chances on the way, whereas if you're sitting in places like Dublin, Warner Robins, Perry, there's not rain or clouds out there, so it may be having a little bit of a different feel to the day. There is a reason for that, but again, either way, no matter where you are today, whether it looks like it's going to rain or not, it's not going to. Today's not going to be a day with rain chances in it, but the next couple of days throughout this week are going to be days that have much more promising rain chances than we've had in a long time. So good news is on the way in the rain front, but of course, let's start with where we sit right now. Now, I just kind of pointed out the differences here, but there's a lot of blue skies, obviously, in most areas, except for downtown Macon. Downtown Macon is dealing with a lot of cloud cover, much different scene than what's going on in Dublin and in Warner Robins and in Perry. Now, you can also see in Perry the water is kind of blowing around. We've got some strong winds out there as well. If you've been outside today at all, you probably have noticed that. So otherwise, it's just kind of a calm scene, and the temperatures will also reflect a little bit of the difference that's going on outside right now. Here in our kind of northeastern half, this is where numbers are sitting just a little bit lower. We see some low 60s all the way into about Gordon, and then we see the numbers jumping up into the mid to upper 60s. Now, this is kind of a subtle difference. Obviously, it's not very drastic, but it is a little bit of a temperature difference. And the reason is we've got one of those backdoor front situations set up across of our area. If you don't know what that is, we refer to it as the wedge. Basically, cold air gets stuck up against the Appalachian Mountains, and it has nowhere to go except to filter down here into the northeastern part of our state. So we typically tend to see a big temperature difference when this happens. And over in the eastern half of the state, that's where numbers are a little bit cooler. The western half of the state is where numbers are a little bit warmer. This actually appears to be a fairly strong wedge. It looks like it's stretching kind of almost to the western counties, which is why there's not a huge temperature difference across our state. You can see more of a temperature difference from us to, say, Alabama. So this is actually maybe kind of a strong wedge that's taking over more counties than it typically does, which is kind of interesting. But overall, the most it's really going to do today is impact temperatures and kick up the breeze. That's what it's done so far this morning. This is a look at the current wind gusts. Again, the flow coming in from the northeast, so you know it's a wedge setup. And it's got the winds today up to 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained. And then we've got these gusts that can get up to around 25 miles per hour. So it is a breezy day today. Otherwise, there's not a lot to talk about weather-wise. Today's going to be a pretty quiet day, so the breeze is kind of one of the most interesting things that we've got going on out there. And the fact that this wedge is actually filtering in some drier air, which is why I had to say there's no rain chances in the forecast today, because we were kind of sitting in this not bad category. You're looking at dew point, which is a measure of humidity in the atmosphere. When we tend to have low numbers, they're in the 50s, even the 40s can get pretty low. That means we're in really dry air. So we had rain chances over the weekend because we had a little bit more moisture in our atmosphere. We were again in the green. Now we're back into the dry, and there's just nothing in the air to support any type of rain chance. So there's nothing that, if there was some sort of forcing mechanism, it wouldn't be able to pick up anything out there because there's nothing for it to pick up. So that's one other thing that the wedge is doing. But again, the main thing that it's doing is really impacting the way things feel outside right now. It's created a bit of a temperature difference from where we were this time yesterday. A good temperature difference in a couple of spots that are a little bit cooler, 10 to 15 degrees in some areas. In some spots, it's not so drastic. We're talking 5 to 10 degrees. But overall, compared to a high temperature yesterday of 87 degrees, the high that we have on tap today will feel a lot cooler. We were well above average for this time of year yesterday, and we were well above we were closer actually to the record high temperature set back in 1986. So a big difference in terms of where we're going to be sitting later this afternoon. Today's high temperature, again, it's going to be a little bit different for folks who are under the wedge versus folks who are not, but we're going to hover somewhere around the 80-degree mark. So we'll be close to 80 degrees. Some spots could be just a little bit cooler. Some spots may be a degree or two warmer, but overall, again, if you're anywhere near 80 degrees, it's going to be a lot cooler than the 87 that we had yesterday. So overall, the trend for today is just more comfortable weather. You may have to deal with cloud cover like I'm going to show you here on the satellite and radar, like what's going on in downtown Macon, but you still should have the opportunity to see peaks of sunshine through the afternoon. Now, something that we've been talking a lot about over the last couple of days is the air quality. You may remember just a couple of days ago, we were in some pretty bad air quality. We were all the way up into the unhealthy category here, and it was because of the wildfires that are going on in South Georgia. And you can actually see down on the coast, they do still have decreased air quality, but we are actually doing okay right now. First of all, the direction of the winds is helping us. The wedge is keeping the smoky air down there in the south and our air here in Georgia nice and clear. And for the first time in a few days, we have officially made our way into good air quality. Yesterday, the day before, we were in the moderate category, the yellow one, which is not bad. That air is still considered to be safe for most people. It's for extremely sensitive groups that you would need to limit your time outdoors. But today, we are officially all good in all categories. The air quality is considered satisfactory, which means that the air quality poses little to no risk to most groups. So that is the air quality situation for us right now. We've lost the smoky air and we're sitting in a lot better conditions in terms of that. Now, over the last few days, we've also had to talk a lot about fire weather concerns, of course, because of what's going on down in South Georgia. Now, the National Weather Service issues these products because they want to highlight the type of weather we're having and if that might be an increased concern for fires spreading quickly and developing rapidly. Now, today, we are not under any sort of fire weather concern, but all that really means is just that the weather is not going to support fires getting started quickly and spreading rapidly. It does not mean that we are in the all clear for fire. We continue to be in a burn ban until May 22nd, which may be part of the reason that the National Weather Service has kind of waited on this anyways. We will stay in this burn ban until, again, May 22nd, unless something changes. As of right now, though, this is still active. So we cannot be burning, especially prescribed burns and yard material, agriculture, things like that. That is specifically what the burn ban is for. But of course, any sort of personal burning is also banned. So we are not supposed to be doing that until May 22nd. Whether we have a fire weather concern or not, burning is not on the table for the foreseeable future. So with that being said, of course, with the fires down in South Georgia still burning a lot, I believe actually the most recent number we got in terms of the numbers of homes lost was 120. So a very serious situation down in South Georgia. The big question mark is, when is the rainfall going to come back? We obviously need some, not only here in our area, but across the state. So we are definitely looking for what that next rainmaker will be. And you look at the satellite and radar right now, it looks pretty boring. There's not a ton of stuff going on. We have a little bit of cloud cover out there, but otherwise there's just not a ton to point out. But as we go into the next few days, that will start to change. So the satellite and radar right now just shows this clear picture here in our area once we take away the clouds. And like I said, that's how Monday is going to go. We really don't have many rain chances in the picture for the rest of today. It's going to be a clear end to the day. Hopefully, we can get some of those clouds to move out of Macon and get a little bit of a clearer picture by the afternoon. And if we do, then this is how the day is going to end. But by Tuesday, that's when our first rain chance is in the picture. So you have 4 rain chances, notable rain chances at least, on the 7-day forecast: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So we're going to take it piece by piece here, starting obviously with Tuesday. We'll go in chronological order. You'll wake up Tuesday morning. If you are north of I-16, you've got the possibility to catch maybe a scattered shower or a thunderstorm. I'm going to go ahead and let you know Tuesday's a still kind of low-end rain chance. It's a 20% chance of rain. We've got this system here, and what's really going to be happening in our atmosphere over the next few days is a cold front is going to be approaching us and is really going to take its time going across our area. So Tuesday and Wednesday, both of those rain chances are going to be associated with the cold front and then with other features in different levels of the atmosphere that are working with that cold front. So think of the cold front at the surface, and then we've got kind of these disturbances, is what we call them in meteorology, up at different levels in the atmosphere, and they're going to be driving a few systems our way while this cold front is sitting with us, just to give you a little bit of background to what's going on for the next few days. So this first round comes on Tuesday morning, and it's really going to be a situation for North Georgia. Obviously, you see the coverage is a bit better up there. These showers try to make their way into central Georgia here, but they really don't do a great job of coming here. A couple of light showers are possible Tuesday morning, again, mainly in the northern half here. Otherwise, it's just going to be a pretty quiet day. A couple clouds, and that's going to be pretty much it for Tuesday. After we head into the afternoon, all of the rain chances go to 0, and we close out the day dry. So not super promising. It's a rain chance, but it's not one that everybody gets involved in, and obviously it's not one that's going to have very impressive totals. Don't worry. Wednesday starts to look a little bit better. So we head into Wednesday. Like I said, we've got that front, and then we've got a couple of things in the upper levels of the atmosphere that are forcing more systems our way. So that is one of these right here. It's what we call an MCS, which we see a lot in the kind of springtime here. They're basically big, large-scale systems that are driven by different things in the atmosphere. So that's what this is for Wednesday. Check out the timestamp. This is 3 in the morning on Wednesday. We see this system already across state lines well into North Georgia at this time and looking fairly organized. Now, this is a new model run. I will say from run to run, the organization of this system has varied a lot. So one of the big question marks with Wednesday's system is it going to be a severe weather maker or not? And unfortunately, it kind of depends on how the first system goes on Tuesday. So the National Weather Service is kind of playing the waiting game here on what Wednesday's severe weather chances will look like based on what happens on Tuesday morning for North Georgia. So the severe weather thing we'll talk a little bit more about here in a minute, but there it is up at 3 a.m. Wednesday morning. And then by the time we head into it a little bit later, it starts to make its way into our area. We're now kind of in the morning commute time frame, and we've got these widespread showers and likely embedded thunderstorms rolling across our area. So go ahead and be aware of this. This may look pretty strong here. I think that the rainfall totals are going to be a bit lighter, but either way, we're likely looking at least some type of rainfall happening Wednesday morning, probably when you're going to work. So this is going to be a little bit early in the morning. Notice as it moves across our area, we start to lose a lot of this red, meaning it starts to be a little bit lighter rainfall. And I'm going to talk about totals here in a moment. I have unfortunate news in terms of rainfall totals, but we'll take what we can get nonetheless. So it moves across our area again through the morning commute time, all the way into about the mid to late morning. And then that first system is done. Okay, so that's Wednesday morning. Probably right now, I would say that's the most promising opportunity for every county in central Georgia to actually see something. I've held the rain chance at 60%. The reason being, some model runs, unfortunately, still want to make this a northern county thing. Some stretch it all the way down into our southern counties. It kind of depends from run to run. I'm hoping I'll be able to bump that up as we go into Tuesday or maybe even into tonight, but we'll kind of have to see how the runs start to line up with one another. Now that's Wednesday morning, but we're not done with Wednesday just yet. Now it's going to be dry for the majority of Wednesday. Through the afternoon, it'll stay nice and dry all the way into about late night Wednesday night. Then another one of those systems starts to roll into the area. This time it brings a couple of isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms that stick with us in the overnight Wednesday into early Thursday morning. So remember, I said there was 4 rain chances on the 7-day, but there's actually multiple within one day here. So Wednesday into Thursday is going to be this one that you see right here. I also think this is going to be another opportunity for a lot of central Georgia to get in on the action. A lot of model runs have actually kept these showers south of I-16, so our southern counties getting in on the action a little bit more. Either way, Wednesday and Wednesday night into Thursday both seem like promising opportunities for me for most of the area to actually end up seeing something. And this takes us out now to 4 a.m. where we still have light showers across the area Thursday morning. So good news on that front. We'll take what we can get, especially even if it's light. We just need anything that we can get, especially over a number of days. Now, I want to go back to that severe weather potential. I was talking about it being a little bit complicated, but I want to show you the Storm Prediction Center outlooks to give you an idea. So this is the Storm Prediction Center outlook for Tuesday, likely into Tuesday night because that system arrives a little bit earlier for North Georgia. There's a big severe weather risk out to our north and our west. In Georgia, we have a teeny tiny little level 2 and a level 3 that extends for the northwestern corner of the state. That's Tuesday night. Then we go into Wednesday morning when this system moves into our area. Notice a huge gap between the risks that we are not included in. So the Storm Prediction Center has decided that we don't really have the necessary ingredients to support severe weather heading into Wednesday morning, meaning they don't really think that it's going to be a severe weather situation for us. I do still think that we're going to see thunderstorms throughout Wednesday. It looks like a situation where we could still have some lightning, some thunder, maybe a couple of gusty winds from time to time. But with no sort of severe weather risk, we can safely assume, as of right now, it looks like it's just going to be run-of-the-mill thunderstorms for Wednesday morning. I still think the outlooks are worth paying attention to over the next couple of days. Like I said, the National Weather Service really highlighted that they wanted to see how Tuesday morning went for North Georgia before making another call on Wednesday morning. So it's still worth us keeping our ear open to what they're thinking as we go throughout Tuesday. But at least for right now, it looks like it's going to be a rain situation for us and not a severe weather situation, which is good news. In fact, this is probably one of the quietest severe weather seasons that we've had in quite some time. I probably shouldn't have said that, but that is the situation for Wednesday morning. Now, I said there was a few more rain chances in the picture, and as we head into, I'm so sorry that I keep itching my nose. It has got a crazy itch going on right now. there's going to be more rain chances as we head into the end of the week and the upcoming weekend. So we go into Thursday. That's that Thursday morning rain chance that I was just showing you, but I'm flipping it over to the long range now so we can go beyond Thursday. Friday, I think, is going to be a mainly dry day. I've put a 10% chance of rain on there because the long range models want to kind of show something on here, but it's really just the GFS. The Euro has not bought into this at all. There's a possibility that we could get a slight scattered shower or two, but overall, I don't think there's going to be a notable rain chance for Friday. But don't worry, because they come back on Saturday. So what happens on Saturday? We have a low pressure system down in the Gulf, and then kind of a big stationary and warm front that stretch into the southern portion of Georgia. We are right smack dab in the axis of that. So we're looking to see some widespread rain for sometime Saturday. It's varied between the morning and the evening, but it does look like on Saturday we will likely see something. That low pressure system moves off to the coast. It takes the moisture with it, and then we dry up for Sunday. So that is the week, the whole week said and done. Several opportunities to get rainfall here. The most notable will be Wednesday morning, likely Thursday morning as well. Those are kind of our two best chances right now. If you are in a northern county, you do have a pretty good shot at seeing at least a brief shower on Tuesday, but overall it's not going to be the best chance. Saturday, the details are a little fuzzy because we're still in the long range, but it does look like we could have another promising chance for some more widespread rain. So that takes us all the way through Sunday. As we head into next week, there actually still could be good news on the way, which I'll touch on the long range here in just a moment. Now, unfortunately, I have to talk about rainfall totals, and I say unfortunately because the future view itself looks super promising. You see the widespread rain, you see the dark colors on there, the reds, the yellows. It starts to look like it's going to be a washout. We're going to get so much rainfall, which we will in relation to where we've been over the last couple of weeks. It will be a more widespread rain situation as opposed to just a few scattered showers. But how much rain that system actually puts down will still be fairly small. Now, it's not going to be terrible. I think in the heaviest spots, we're talking close to an inch, maybe even the 1.5-inch mark in locally heavier spots. I really don't want anyone to get too hung up on the southern counties only seeing 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. I still think they'll get a little bit closer to the 1/2 inch mark. But the trend here generally that you'll notice is that these numbers are not going to put a dent in our drought conditions. Now, it's a step in the right direction. Any rainfall that we get over the next couple of days and weeks is going to be very important for not only putting us in the right way, but also hopefully keeping the drought conditions from getting worse. And I do think a notable rain chance, again, it's a foot in the right direction and will hopefully do that, just kind of keep things from getting worse. We did also have some rainfall on Saturday, but it's kind of a similar situation to what we'll experience over the next few days. Most spots see close to 1/2 inch. Maybe if you get lucky, you get up to around an inch. In some thunderstorms that start to get really heavy or sit over the same place for a long time, that's where we can really rack up the totals. And that's what happened on Saturday. So my hope here is that majority of the area, may end up seeing numbers more like this, but hopefully we can get pockets that put down numbers like that. That could be really helpful for areas where the drought is locally a lot worse, especially down in our southern counties. So this is the rainfall totals from the past 5 days, but it's really the rainfall totals from Saturday because we haven't had any rainfall otherwise. And that is where things stood with just those scattered showers. So keep hope alive for what we have heading into the rest of the week. Of course, I've talked a lot about the drought conditions. The drought monitor has not updated just yet. We get a new graphic on Tuesdays. So tomorrow I'll be able to give you a new picture of what the drought conditions look like in our area. Relatively unchanged over the last couple of updates. The biggest and most concerning piece of the puzzle is obviously the exceptional drought that stretches into Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery, portions of Dodge and Wilcox counties. And of course the extreme drought, which does cover kind of our western and southern counties here. Majority of the area is in a severe drought. All three of those categories are very strong and definitely a concern. And the thing that we need is rainfall to kind of help us out here. So in the month of April, we didn't do ourselves a lot of favors. We only got an inch of rainfall at the Macon-Bibb Airport. The April average is supposed to be a little over 3.5 inches. So we were supposed to do a lot better in the month of April. But as you know, this month is almost over. The 30th is on Thursday. The 1st of May is on Friday. So when we kind of look at where we were in terms of the normals, we fell about 2.25 inch below normal for this time of year. That puts our yearly deficit up to 7 inches. Every single month this year has fallen below average. I don't think that comes as a major surprise. Obviously, the drought conditions kind of speak for themselves, but these are the actual numbers to put to those drought conditions. So that's a lot. I know it sounds like all bad news, especially when I just showed you the rainfall totals not looking super high, but I have good news in regards to the drought conditions and to the rainfall totals not being super high, in the sense that I actually think it's going to be somewhat of a good thing for us. One of the worst things that could happen to us right now is if we got a crazy rainmaker and it put down 2 to 3 inches of rain. It may seem like it would be a positive thing for us, but if that happened with the type of conditions that we have across the state right now, it would just lead to widespread flash flooding, because if that much rainfall came down that quickly, our ground, when you have really dry ground, it doesn't do a good job absorbing rainfall that comes down super quickly. It just leads to flooding because it's dry, cracked ground. So that would also be bad. So we want to land somewhere in between that. We probably would want a little bit more rainfall than is projected right now, but we wouldn't want to see a crazy amount. What we need to do is have a small amount steadily over time. And I actually think that's kind of what we're set up to do right now. Several rain chances this week, and then we look beyond this week. The date here, May 4th through the 10th, so that's next week. And we're forecasted to have above normal rainfall totals for the first time in a while. And that is very promising. That means that basically the average for the month of May, in terms of that first week, we're expected to do more than the average, which means every kind of week through the month of May, we should hopefully be doing good numbers. It may be, and I don't want to jinx anything, but it's looking promising to potentially be the first month we've at least gotten close to the average amount of rainfall for the month. So big news in that regard, that we don't just have to kind of wait for this week and hope that we get everything in this week. There is also opportunity for us to tack on more totals as we go throughout the month of May. So hold on to that, and we will talk a little bit about temperatures as well, because that is also going to be a huge thing that you notice this week. Now, as we go into next week, notice we are well into the below normal category. So not only are we going to have above average rainfall, we're also going to have below normal temperatures. Now, this month of April was a totally different story. We had 20 above average days so far, still a few days to go. We only had 1 day that was actually at the normal and 5 days below normal. A lot of red on this board here. We also had our first 90-degree day just a few weeks ago. And overall, it was just a super warm above average month. Of course, our dry weather had a lot to do with that. The sunshine just allowed these numbers to keep on climbing almost every single day in the month of April. This graphic is a lot, but the reason that I show it is to show you we're approaching the end of the month here. This is April kind of in terms of averages, in terms of rainfall, temperatures, records, things like that. So I want to show you the average high does start to climb as we go to the end of the month. It climbs up to 82 degrees. We're actually at the 81 degree mark now. So for us to be below average in the month of May, we have to be below the number 82. So that number already gets pretty warm. We are getting close to the summertime months. I don't think we're going to see anything super crazy in terms of temperatures through the month of May, low temperatures meaning, but I do think it is going to be a little bit cooler than at least the last few days. So it happens this week. It's not just next week. It starts right now. We climb all the way through Wednesday with temperatures that we've been having for the last few days. We'll make our way back into the mid 80s by Wednesday, but quickly we start to drop down into the 70s as we head into the end of the work week. And actually, this is not even as low as we go. The weekend looks cooler than this. So what happens is we basically get a trough, which is a feature in the atmosphere of cooler air setting up over our state, and it starts to drop the numbers steadily through the end of the week and into the weekend. It's not only the afternoon highs, as you know all too well. The overnight lows will follow suit as well. We've had some really warm mornings for the last few days. Most have been in the 60s and the mid to upper 50s. As we head into the end of the week, we're going to start falling into the low 50s, and the mornings are going to start getting in the low 50s and the upper 40s. So some much cooler days are on the way. Of course, rainfall is the biggest story right now. It's the thing that we really need the most, but the lows and the afternoon highs will also be pretty interesting. So I'll show you the 7-day forecast here in just a moment to emphasize that. I showed this humidity map because I showed humidity a moment ago. The wedge pattern that we're under right now is dropping the humidity a good bit. It's hurting our rain chances at the moment. But I wanted to show you, which it went by a little bit quickly, but you can still see by all the way into the rest of the week, we still have lots of moisture with us. We're in this not bad category, meaning we'll have moisture that can support rain chances all the way into about the end of the week. And this will carry us into the weekend as well. This is also why I think that the rain chance for Friday might be a bit overdone. Thursday, it does look like we have a front that comes through and dries the air out temporarily. Then we have this low pressure system in the Gulf that will bring the moisture back for Saturday. But Friday, I think, is going to be one of those lapse days, kind of like what we're experiencing today. So I'm not totally sure if I buy what the GFS is selling for Friday, but we'll kind of see how it goes. I'm going to stand in front of these numbers because I know for a fact I meant to update this graphic and I forgot to, but these are the data, or these are the holidays that are approaching very soon: Cinco de Mayo, Mother's Day, and Memorial Day, and then of course the start of hurricane season, which is on June 1st. All very exciting things. Definitely make sure you don't forget your moms. That is an important holiday, and just a lot to look forward to in the month of May, and I will get you those numbers updated by tomorrow. I just had a lot on my mind before getting ready for this stream. So this is what the 7-day forecast officially looks like with the rain chances in the picture. It goes from 20, again, that low end rain chance for Tuesday, to 60 for Wednesday morning. It's a little confusing because we also have the Wednesday evening rain chance, but it's really a Thursday morning rain chance. I actually think I may bump this up before midday. I think I might take this from 20 to 30. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but I promise you, for the type of conditions that we've had for the last few days, that is actually kind of a big deal. So we'll go to 30 for Thursday. I still think it's going to be a little dry for Friday, and then we head into the weekend where another widespread rainmaker is on the way. So several chances here for rain. Notice that huge temperature dip that I was talking about. We go from the mid 80s all the way into the 70s by the end of the week, and then we take the 70s down into the low 70s as we head into the weekend. So that is going to feel really different. Saturday and Sunday are going to have a very unaverage feel to them. It's going to be a lot cooler, and the mornings, especially heading to church on Sunday morning, you're going to want to have a jacket on you. It's going to feel a lot colder. But overall, this 7 day shows a lot of promise, and like I showed you on the Climate Prediction Center outlooks, even beyond this 7-day forecast, there is promise for rain heading into next week as well. So we are going in the right direction. Definitely a forecast you want to pay attention to through the next few days. In fact, if you have interest in Wednesday morning, I would even make sure you're tuned in tonight. Meteorologist Ben Jones will have more information this evening. And of course, as we watch this first system roll in on Tuesday, I should be able to have a lot more information tomorrow at this same time about Wednesday morning's rain chance, specifically Wednesday morning's storm chance, if there has been any change or development with that. So I'll kind of keep you tuned in. If you're looking for more information on that, make sure to join me here tomorrow morning at the same time in the same place, and I will go over that. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you have a great start to the work week, and I will see you right back here tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.